Good morning, friends. It's Lisa coming to you here from the farm. And, I decided to do this maybe when you're sipping your coffee. There's no telling what's going to happen here this morning. Bobo is showing up to work in a little while. Tucker is barking at dogs going by. But anyway, so I wanted to kind of share a little bit of my journey on selling. That is perhaps the most common question or the fear that people have is actually selling their flowers. So I thought I would take you a little walk through my 25 years of growing because I'll tell you, friends, I think I sold flowers in every way possible. The only way I think I didn't sell flowers is, excuse me, I never did a U-pick. But anyway, so if you have some coffee, let's just chit-chat for a few minutes. And before I go deeper, remember that today at 12:30 is Ask a Flower Farmer, and guess who's hosting it today? Dave Dowling. If you have any questions about tulips and bulbs and perennials and shrubs and ranunculus and dahlias, about buying them, planting them, growing them, that's Dave's secret sauce. So mark your calendar for 12:30 today. So this has all come about, of course, because we have a special on our courses for mine and Dave this week, the bundle. And a lot of people are expressing concerns and stresses over selling, right? So I thought, what better way? Did you see my reel I just posted a little while ago where I was talking about one of the many ways that I sold my flowers? Because, friends, here's the thing that I think we really need to wrap our head around and to keep at the forefront. And I believe, because this was true for me, it's perhaps one of the things that we push to the very back because we are fearful of selling. Who would pay me for my flowers? Who would want to give me money for my flowers? How much do I charge? Where do I sell them? La, right? So we tend to get all caught up in growing the flowers, but then when it comes time to selling the flowers, you are having a little bit of a pinch. So I'm going to run through the ways that I have just a multitude of different ways that I sold my flowers, all of which are included in my course, Flower Farming School Online, the basics, right? We touch on these and even brainstorm about others. So first off, out of the gate, when I first launched my flower farming business, sorry, y'all, I'm just keeping my eye on Tucker. When I first launched back in 1998, because I also had the fear of that I couldn't make bouquets, I decided that I was going to actually only sell to florists, which was just the easiest. Of course, first off, you have to remember, back then we barely had farmers markets, right? So that wasn't even really much of a choice. So that was my first target, was selling to florists. And that was pretty scary, thinking about, y'all are going to watch Tucker run through the cool flower garden. Tucker, come here, boy. Come here. So y'all just saw Tucker run through my direct seating. Stand by. Come on, boy. I'm putting him. Go ahead. So just like a kid, the minute you're distracted, they do things to make you focus on them. Anyway, so my very first sales avenue was to sell to florists. I totally chose that because I was terrified to think that I could never make a bouquet to sell to somebody, right? So florists were my first avenue. I sold. Sorry, y'all, now my phone's ringing. Sold to florists for 3 years before the first farmers market landed here in southeastern Virginia. And then I kind of went down that road, even as terrified as I was of making bouquets, because what I actually did, this was actually the precursor that's not actually true. I had already been doing my members only market. So the members only market, so let me back up just a minute. So I sold to florists first. Then I developed what grew into a big part of my business was my members only market. I had to do that. First off, one of the biggest issues that I faced here in the city was people always wanted to come over. They always wanted to come see the gardens. They wanted to come buy flowers from me. And because of city ordinances, I couldn't really have a flower stand or anything like that. So I developed a model called the Members Only Market, which I give all the details to that inside of the course, and it kept me legal. It controlled who came to my farm. I knew who was coming to my farm, and it was only devoted flower people. You didn't have people dropping by to pick up a $10 bouquet, right? So my members only market, just a little bit about that briefly. When I started my business, y'all, I didn't have this big building that I have now. That didn't come for years. I literally hosted my members only market on the carport of my house. I mean, I had no cooler, I had no building, I had a tool shed, but other than that, I didn't have anything. And that's where it all started, and it just grew from there. But having that members only market really filled that niche for me of being able to say, well, people that are members of my members only market do get to come to the farm. They do get to look at the gardens while they're there picking up flowers on weeks they decide to come. So it really filled a niche for me. And during that time is kind of when I figured out and my sister helped making bouquets. And then we went to our first farmer's market. So farmers markets, it was a big market. Williamsburg Farmers Market was really busy, and that really pushed us because I had such an incredible volume of flowers. And I posted this morning on that reel showing one of our members only market displays. You just have to grow volumes of flowers. To really make money doing this, you have to work up to that. I didn't start out growing a ton of flowers, but you work up to that, right? But the biggest problem that I see people make, and you can scroll through social media today and see buckets of old flowers. They aren't old like in ready to throw away, but they're too old to be sold. Your flowers need to be at the proper harvest stage, y'all. That is just another big piece of the course. And we see it over and over. And why does that happen? Because people don't have enough different avenues to sell their flowers at. And that is something, my little urban farm, even when the whole property was only less than 1.25 acres, and that included my house and buildings and everything else, I was still producing 4,000 to 5,000 stems of flowers a week, y'all. That is a lot of dadgum flowers. And guess what? More were coming the following week and the week after that. So I had to find ways to move flowers. And that is the key that I think so many people just don't get. I get more questions about how long can you hold that in a cooler, or how long. I never even thought about those things because I wanted to harvest, sell, None of that sitting on business, right? So I see Bobo's pulled up. We'll have to yell to her. So I sold to florists, and then the members only market began. Farmers markets came online. I sold at farmers markets for 14 years. Then a really big piece of my business also became the subscription. That was also a great opportunity because I'm in the city, which means there's lots of businesses and households right here in my neck of the woods, right? And as my business developed, and we actually got more and more volume, then I actually started selling to supermarkets probably about 8 years ago, maybe 8-9 years ago. Supermarkets actually kind of came online and actually replaced farmers markets for us. Didn't take us long to figure out that making bouquets in this air-conditioned building that were already sold, they just need to be made and delivered, versus dragging all of our stuff to farmers markets, 3 tents, 25 buckets, and all the mess to support that, was a whole lot easier to do supermarkets. So I'm just watching for Bobo, y'all. And so that supermarkets really kind of gobbled up all of our volume for that time of the harvest. And I just can't tell you, it's a whole lot better, in my opinion, to be faced with, I don't have enough flowers for all the areas that I'm selling to, versus what the heck am I going to do with all these buckets of flowers until the farmer's market comes on Saturday. You can't be an effective flower farmer, in my opinion, an efficient and effective. And what I mean by that is, do you know how much bucket moving comes with sitting on flowers in the cooler, out of the cooler, changing the water, doing all that, and then you have a lesser product at the end of the day. Now, that brings me to the next way that I actually sold flowers occasionally. It wasn't my mainstay, was event people, because they just show up when they need flowers, right? Or, contact you then. But having flowers that you sit on to kind of build up a stock for something like that is acceptable, because the flowers only have to last like 10 hours, right? Morning, Bobo. I'm doing a live. And Tucker's in the building. Don't let him out. He's already run through the cool flower garden. So the event people could be beneficial. When one particular guy I think of that did really big events, he was all over southeastern Virginia, from Richmond to Virginia Beach. He called me once in the middle of July and asked me, did I have 700 stems of pink flowers? He didn't care what it was. Well, I had like a boatload of pink zinnias. So that works out. But event people were not my go-to. I never wanted to see a swatch. I didn't want to talk weddings. I didn't grow flowers for wedding colors. And anyway, so events are definitely one other niche that we kind of cherry picked when and if we wanted to sell to those. And then, there's so many other ways, y'all. There's so many other ways. And that's the thing that I really hope people take away from learning from Dave and I. It's not that we're going to tell you every single absolute opportunity to sell flower, but we are going to equip you with good quality flowers in volume and lots of diversity, so that you feel confident to be able to approach every single way that's available to you. Because I'll tell you, it really depends where you are. Now, Dave, so Dave's course, which is about bulbs, perennials, and shrubs, bulbs, perennials, and woodies, and more. So Dave actually sold at the famous year-round DuPont Market in Washington, D.C. They had like 4 or 5 flower farmers that sold gangbusters of flowers, y'all. If you can picture that. And Dave just figured it out. And that's what we equip you to do in these courses. We may not cover every single thing, but of course, if we don't and you have a question, you just tag us in our communities and we answer your questions, right? But that is perhaps just one of the things that we so want to gift to you when you become our student, is to give you that confidence that you can ask questions to people that are in this industry, whether it's a seller or another flower farmer, that you can. That was my phone again. I didn't turn my do not disturb on. Sorry. So we are running a special on Dave and my course together. Our course really go hand in hand. There's actually 3 courses in the flower farming series. And there's actually a little bonus special offer when you're checking out for mine and Dave for that 3rd one, but I'll let you check that out when you get there. And what I want to say to you is, these are reference tools, y'all. This is not something you have to sit down and take immediately. First off, you have unlimited lifetime access to this course. If you have internet, you can log into your library and it's right there. This is a place to go to get answers. And the other thing, because I can tell you, this is what I do with the courses that I take, because they're on the same platform that we have. You can actually listen to all the sessions and all the Q&As like a podcast. I mean, I listen to them all the time. Why would I listen to music when I can re-listen to a lesson? You know, like the 7th time I've heard it, I might actually retain it, right? Well, that's just nature. That's the way that we are. So there's a phone app for the courses, meaning you can listen to it at any time like a phone app. You have unlimited access, which means you can go in and listen as many times as you want, and you have it for life. And that's the part, because I didn't understand all of this about courses, and y'all are going to hear me talking about this until Friday when this special goes off, because I never understood that it's not something you have to stop and sit down and watch. It is something that becomes a part of your toolbox. You actually can go to it at any time. When it comes time to order tulips, to order ranunculus, you go in and hear from Dave what varieties, what size bulbs. When it's seed starting time, you go into my course. We even now have the Swift Blocker video in there showing how I actually use that commercial size soil blocker to streamline many of the seeds that I start. So friends, I wanted this all started off after I posted that reel this morning and I got a question about selling. I thought I'm just going to come on here and share. This is a big key piece, in my opinion, to be a successful long haul flower farmer. You have to have more than one avenue, probably more than 2 avenues. And I share about all of those that I did over the life of my business, as well as, so when I, probably at the height of our business, we had 5 different outlets for our flowers. Because friends, you have to understand, when I was able to acquire this 1.5 acres that's behind me, adjoining my property about 10 years ago, our volume went through the roof. We were producing 10 to 15,000 stems of flowers for my little urban flower farm. And why is that? Succession, succession, succession. And friends, so remember, join Dave at 12:30 today, right here where you are right now, and he will bring your questions. He'll answer questions for 30 minutes. Get there early and get your question posted, right? And sorry, y'all. Get your question posted early because he won't be able to answer them all. And I just invite you, you can actually post, comment, bundle here, BUNDLE, and I will DM you the page where you can get all the details about our courses, compare our courses, the topics that we go through. And again, this special is only available until Friday evening. So friends, I'm telling you, and we did a great live last night on YouTube. You can go to our YouTube channel and check that out. All right, friends, you'll be hearing from me again. I'm not going to let you get away, because why would you want to invent the wheel again when it's already rolling? And that's what we offer to you in Flower Farming School Online. So I invite you to check it out and meet Dave at 12:30 today right here on Instagram. All right, friends, have a good one. I didn't get any coffee. Hope somebody did. Ciao.